everybody, and welcome into another episode of the PHNX Suns podcast. I'm Lindsay Smith. That's Saul Bookman. That's Gerald Bourget. And today we've got a very special guest joining us. Please join us in welcoming in Phoenix Suns shooting guard Damion Lee joining the show now. Damion, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good. Thank y'all for having me. Just trying to stay cool. I missed the heat wave, so glad about that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say you missed it.
I mean, the thick of it.
Yeah.
107 is totally different than 117, that's for sure. Listen, Damion, first off, congratulations on re-signing with the Suns. We're really excited that you'll be staying here in the Valley as a member of the Phoenix Suns. Can you just kind of take us through that process and what you felt about staying with the team and maybe what they shared with you during those conversations?
Yeah, I mean, it was, thank you for, I had to make sure I get that out. But it was just an opportunity that, I couldn't pass up. Like, obviously being here for a year, got to feel what that love is like here in the Valley. And really just knowing with, obviously new ownership, new coaching staff, and, just the vision that they have going forward was something that I felt like I couldn't pass up. So I'm excited going forward. Obviously, we have some new pieces. I think we have like 4 or 5 guys from last year. So, obviously that'll be a little different, and then with new coaching staff. But at the end of the day, the end goal is to put the ball in the basket and to stop the other team from doing so. So I feel like we'll figure it out when the time's right.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from, we're going to talk about your charity here in a second, but also basketball. How's your offseason been? What you been up to? What have you been? How active have you been?
Offseason's been good. The month of July, I was moving around a lot. I started off out the country and then came back in the country. And then for the last, the 10th through the 30th, I was on the road. Baltimore, New York, Philly, Louisville, DC, Virginia. I was making my tour dates felt. I'll say that. So, but yeah, it was great. I had stuff with my nonprofit back home. Saw some friends, spent some time with my mom, and then now it's just time to lock down. Get settled in back in this heat before 2 months left.
So you mentioned your nonprofit. Obviously, you've got the foundation going on. For those of you who are not aware in the chat, the L.E.E Foundation is hosting its 2nd annual golf scramble August 7th in Louisville, Kentucky. It is sold out, but you do have a silent auction going on that's available anywhere in the U.S., right?
Yes. So we have that was a great segue, by the way, G. No, yeah. So we do have we have our silent auction that's going on right now. The link is on my Instagram. I posted on Twitter. I also posted on Threads. That's how I'm getting real savvy. And as you see, the link is also posted below. But with that, we have so many amazing items, memorabilia, so many experiences that we have. I'll just name off a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Signed jerseys from yours truly, from Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Sabrina Ionescu, Tyrese Halliburton's All-Star Game jersey, Shane Bieber signed baseball jersey, Christian Yelich signed jersey, and then we have a couple of experiences like I mentioned. One with Maker's Mark Distillery, one with 2 tickets to Suns vs. Knicks at Madison Square Garden, and dinner at BLT Prime in New York. So if you want to bid on that, be my guest, and post-game passes as well. And then I think my favorite experience that we have for this year going for this year is a Clase Azul tasting experience.
Okay.
I'm friends with the CEO of the company, Juan Sanchez, and he's someone that I value as a friend, and he offered the experience of you would have to take care of your own airfare and hotels, but it's dinner and Clase Azul tasting up to 8, a one-of-a-kind experience with him at a very exclusive club in San Francisco. That's something that I feel like will be a pretty dope time. That's something I may bid on myself. But, if someone else wants to outbid me, then go for it. But yeah, just, super excited. The Leeway Foundation has always been about giving back to the underserved. Our target range in the beginning is 6th to 8th grade because we feel like that's when kids are most impressionable, whether that may be bullying, whether that may be whatever their influences are. I was bullied in 6th and 7th grade, so like I understand. But also just using sports, using basketball as a tool to make it out of your situation, to know that you can, use this. It's not, basketball is what you do, not who you are. Or sports to that matter. But just using it for my nonprofit to give back. We've given back to an all-girls school in Louisville. We've invested over $30,000 in that school so far. Giving back to Baltimore, we've done the kids' version of like sip and paint with schools, with mental health seminars, and then now the 2 regions that we're looking at investing our nonprofit in that community is Philadelphia, which I went to school at, and then also here in Phoenix. So there will be many more things coming here in the Phoenix area for the upcoming holidays as well as going forward in the future.
Yeah, so this is an amazing initiative to get behind. If you guys have some extra dollars or you got your eye on some of these things that are up for auction, definitely get in on the action. Like Damion said, all of his social media, you can find the link on. We've shared it in the chat. We'll share it on social as well, so you can find it there. But you kind of brought it up a little bit. You touched on the bullying that you kind of had to endure when you were younger, but was that one of the driving forces, or what was the driving force between creating the Leeway Foundation and then choosing these kind of initiatives that you chose to give back to?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that, just understanding how impressionable kids are at that age. Like I could have went down a different road then, but thanks to my family and friends, they all kept me on more of the straight and narrow path. Um, but it's pretty ironic. My mom always wanted to start a nonprofit. And my mom is a veteran. She was in the Persian Gulf War in '91. So she was over there. And then she happened to have me in '92. So for her, she wasn't able to fulfill her dream of that. So this is also something that's her baby as well, that she's able to live. No, actually, we're able to live through it together. But just starting the idea of wanting to give back and trying to find ways to help give back to the kids is something that's always been near and dear to me. And we started this 6 years ago just with an idea. And we've done so many amazing things, like I've mentioned, previously. But to have my mom on board as, co-founder and something that, I'm not going to say my age, that'll put too many things together. But, just where I am in my life and where she is, just letting this be kind of her baby and her spearheading a lot of those things it's what brings true joy to me, because I know we have the same vision when it comes to the foundation.
At what point of your career did you realize, like, as a basketball player, you go through and everything's kind of focused around you, going up through AAU, high school, college, the focus is you. And then you get to the NBA and yes, you're making more money, but the lifestyle also provides you more opportunity to do things in the community. When did you first kind of realize, was there another teammate or something like that that kind of like illuminated the other side of sports and the ways you can give back?
I wouldn't even necessarily say it was a teammate. I've kind of always been that way. Like you can ask my friends. Like I don't know what clicked. It was like in high school, I guess, once I transferred from one high school to another, going into my junior year. Like I felt like I was in more of a toxic environment my first 2 years of high school. And then once I went to the other high school, I kind of realized, like, how to be personal to people, how to be like welcoming, how to be accepting. I mean, I'm sarcastic, so like that's never gonna leave. But just finding ways how to like relate to people. And my mom would always say growing up, like everyone in this life has a job, and I never really understood that until I started to get through my later years of high school, going away for prep school, and then going to college. Like one of my close friends, I mean, I joke about it, but it's like I kind of helped like feed him through college. Like he had a lot of student loans, had like a lot of debt, In that, and we had like these swipe cards at Drexel where we would get like 2,500 because we had quarters, so instead of like semesters, so it was 10-week quarters. And we had like $2,500 like each quarter to like buy food and like it was, don't worry, I don't think you could do that now. There's some things back then that you can't do now, so I'm open and talking about it. But like I would have probably like $1,200-1,300 left over from each quarter, and I'd be like, I'm not gonna spend it. There's 2 weeks left. Like, bro, just get whatever you want. Like, do whatever you want to do. So, just from that, and then like all my friends, my families know like the three things that I'm passionate about, which I'm now able to like put into words, are relationships/friendships. Like I learned that in 10th grade. The number one thing in business is relationships. Like it doesn't matter how much money you have, like the highest you are to the lowest you are. It's that community. Like that's obviously something I've always been big on. Like I try to make people and treat people to feel the same way, as if like, even if they aren't where I am in my quote unquote status, but that they can feel like they are a part of it. And bringing people together, whether it's my Drexel family, my Louisville family, my son's family, and then experiences. That's like one of the biggest things, because money can't buy that. Like, sure, the money comes, it goes. Don't get it twisted. I love my job. I have an amazing job. I'm going to do it for as long as I can. But it's the experiences that you have with it. So like those three things are the three things that like our nonprofit are like built on, like the foundational pieces of that, and truly the foundational pieces of like who I am as a person and what I do in my everyday life.
Damion, you mentioned your son's family and friendships and relationships being important to you. Obviously, very different Suns team coming in this upcoming season. How have you enjoyed getting to know Frank Vogels so far, and what are your impressions of him to this point?
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, every time I see Coach, it's just a joy. I mean, for me, it's like the reality is I get to do what I do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing a kid's game, and I get to travel the world and play. And then I'm around people, coaching staff, teammates, players that all feel the same way. Like we all come in with that joy of like, all right, like what's the plan today? Like what are we doing? How are we trying to get better? And like Coach has that every single day. Every single time I've seen him, it's always like, what's up, DLee? How's it going? What's this? What's that? And it's obviously, there's that learning stage of trying to learn people, but when you've been in this business long enough, you can kind of sift through all the stuff that like is true and genuine and the stuff that's fake. And Coach has been nothing but genuine, at least from what I've heard, from what I've seen, and I'm excited to play for him.
He's genuine as hell from what we could tell. He even
We
gave
love
me a
him.
nickname. So I'm like, let's go, baby. I'm ready. Hey, so when you look back on this season, obviously 3-point shooting was kind of your forte this season. What else have you taken away from last season in order to prepare for the next one in terms of some of the things that you'd like to tweak about your own game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the consistency, just like continuing to be consistent. I feel like that's something that, I obviously see my shirt, my brand, Daily Deposit Crew, like every day is going in and getting the work in. But yeah, it's just a consistency of doing what I do at a high level, knowing we have a different team, knowing every night a different role may be asked of you of what to do and what to bring to the team. So for me, it's not buying it, but it's honoring that and just continuing to do that every night. I mean, I'm going into my 7th year. I know what my strengths are. Like I know what I can do out there. I know what some of my not so much strengths are. I'm not going to say the W word because there's no point in like that's pointless. I mean, I'm a very optimistic person. But just seeing what I can do, how I can help the guys be better, how I can be better, and just how I can learn and continue to grow. Like you said, it's a new team. We got 4 or 5 guys back from last year. So that's 10, 11 new guys, whole new coaching staff. It's going to blend together and gel when it does. But just finding ways. Like I'm big on film. I love studying the game. I love, like I said, finding ways for myself to get better and even to help other guys. But not step on anyone's toes. But I just love this game so much. It's like you have to try to find ways to get better.
Yeah.
Sounds like you are just as excited as we are for this season to finally be here and tip off. Plus, the heat will be gone by then, fingers crossed anyway. And things will just be like, we'll just be in a really good spot.
Yeah,
Everybody will be much happier and excited and all the things. Damion, thank you so much.
We do have a super chat for you though, real quick.
I got like 10 minutes. So
are you down to hang out longer?
Heck yeah.
There we go.
It's up to y'all. If I got 10 minutes.
Listen,
we can go all day.
I just wanted to be cognizant of your time, but if you want to hang for 10 minutes, we got you. Let's do it.
So DC in our chat gave us a super chat, $9.99. Thanks, DC. He said, DLee, we see you, champ. Stay strong. You inspire the Valley with your impeccable patience. And then a couple emojis with your basketball. So
yeah,
I appreciate it. Hey, if you DC, if you want, shameless plug. There's some Daily Deposit Crew. You can go to dailydepositcrew.com if you want. As you see below, there's also the bids. If you want to bid for anything that we have going on for the silent auction. But yeah, if good DDC drip, I'm telling you.
Okay, so then since we got a few more minutes, I know Gerald asked you about Frank Vogel and Saul. You guys were kind of talking about how it's all going to come together. What about Bradley Beal? When you heard the news that Bradley Beal was coming to the Suns, what was your initial reaction? And then now that you've had some more time, how excited are you to see it really kind of come together?
And what did y'all do in Vegas? That's what I want to know.
Let's see. All right, let's talk about the Brad. The Brad, I was just like everyone else. I was like, who's going? Like, y'all saw the thing where Brad was like, so y'all trading Book for me? Because that's what most people thought. Yeah, I was excited, but also I was a free agent then, so I was kind of like, I was going into free agency then, so I was kind of like, is this gonna affect me? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, but then things happen the way that they're supposed to. And what happened in Vegas, I was in Vegas for 16 hours. Went to the game, saw Brad-ish, J.O. That night, left. Went to the Usher concert. Phenomenal, by the way. I don't know if y'all went.
I have heard so many good things about this Usher concert. So many good things.
Usher concert was through the roof. It was amazing. I think he still has residency till like October. So if you have a weekend or you have some time, go. But I'm there at the concert and I see like down and like 3 rows over is Brad and his wife, and I was like, oh, that's dope. He was like, yeah, I gotta leave. Because he left the game early too. He's like, yeah, I got to leave the game. I got to go to this Usher concert. So that was my night in Vegas. I left the Usher concert, went back to the hotel, got some pizza, came home.
There you go.
There you go. That's the best way to do Vegas. 16 hours is ideal.
In and out.
In and out.
I wish we were only there for 16 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know how rough out today too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how y'all do over 48 hours. That is a no.
That's not a great call. You mentioned it though. How have you been enjoying getting to know some of your teammates? I know in the off season, everybody's kind of all over the place and spending some time away from basketball, but have you been able to talk with some of the guys and get to know them a little bit?
If I see a guy in the facility, like when I'm in, I'll talk to him, but it's funny. People said the same thing about me last year when I first signed. They were like, oh, did you talk to CP? Did you talk to Book? Did you talk to Mikhail? I'm like, I'm going to see them in September, and I'm going to spend 9 months with them. So from that point on, like, it's like I don't feel as pressed to, obviously, like, reaching out, like, of course, like, that's, like, mandatory. Got to reach out, got to, like, hey, what's up? This my number. But outside of that, it's like, we're going to spend 9 months together. Like, I'm going to spend more time with them and I'm spending with my wife, my son, and my newborn. So, you know what I'm saying? The relationship's going to grow organically. And then, like, we all have a common goal, which is like, yeah, it's a job, but we all want to compete for the common goal, which is to be the last team standing. So, I'll see guys in next month or two, and then, it's always love.
It's time to get it. Yeah,
absolutely.
One question I do have, just from the athlete side of things, you came from Golden State, and then as you mentioned a few minutes ago about, just kind of be on on the edge, not knowing if you're coming back or if you're going to a different team or whatever, however this works out. How does your family kind of work through that process as well? Like your wife, your kids, you know, trying to figure out like, I only put myself in that position. Like if I was in limbo, like not knowing what's going on, I know my wife would be asking me a million questions, like what's happening, what's the latest, blah 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 blah. You know, I don't know. You know, and so I always want to know what's that side like. He laughs immediately, which means
I'm laughing because it's like twofold. Like, I mean, my wife's been around it for 30 years.
Mhm.
She understands, but then like she was with me when I was in Maine, when I was in Santa Cruz, and she was living in Oakland, and she was driving an hour and a half, 2 hours down to come see a game, and I'm staying out of like the motel. So like for me, it's like she like just let me know what's concrete. Let me know what the final three is. We'll talk about it. We'll make the decision. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. Like she don't really trip off it because like I said, she's been around it for 30 years. So, well, she's not 30 yet, but you know what I mean. Her family's been in it for over that period of time, and for her, she's just like, all right, you just tell me what to do. Well, not tell me what to do, but you just let me know what we're gonna do. I'll ask pros, I'll ask cons, and she like if we moving and if we going to another city, let's figure it out. How we gonna get the cars there? How we gonna get the kids there? What we gonna do with the house?
She brings the calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they always do.
Well,
It's
the crazy thing is like we both calm,
Mhm.
but she's like ultra calm. I'm like calm, but you know, I'll get there, especially, you know, in between the lines, I can get there. But yeah, she's just like, all right.
I love that.
what were
Yeah.
the pros for Phoenix?
We ain't have to move.
That's a positive.
That's a good
That's
one.
one.
Yeah.
And then just like we know the environment, you know, we're familiar here. Like we bought our home here, so this is like our first like family home. You know, but I mean that's honestly like number one. Like, in fact, we didn't have to move. Like when we lived in the Bay, we moved. Besides living out of the like hotel, then we lived out of motel, then out the hotel. Then we moved like 5 times in like 4 years.
Damn.
Sheesh.
And like, and I don't know if y'all know, but excuse my French, but the Bay is expensive as hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So like you get in like a 1,800 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment for like 6,500, like over 6,000 a month. That's ridiculous.
No sir.
No
That's a
backyard.
super nice house here in Phoenix with a big old backyard
Yo.
and a pool.
You feel
Living
me?
good
Like,
out here. Yeah.
That's crazy.
so like that's the thing of like, shoot, we got great home. You know, like I mean, hey, we ain't have to move. That's the pro.
Yep.
That's the pro, and that's the second pro.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Obviously, yesterday we saw that the Suns released some new jerseys for the upcoming season. We got the white one on the table. You can't really see it, but there's a purple one up there. Did you see them, and what did you think?
Yeah, they fire.
There we go.
Fire. I was gonna say a dad joke, but I'll save that for later. But
Listen, you're in good company.
You haven't heard this podcast before. I promise you that.
This is the
Yeah.
dad joke of them all.
I'm guilty, and I'm not even a father. So
Yeah,
I have no
yeah.
right. But
He's doing his
Yeah,
pre-dad work right now. So
yeah, I've been mixing up my dad jokes for like the last 5 years. So no, but they're fire. I mean, I think I saw what they're like. I mean, obviously they're the newer sunburst ones. I just wonder what's gonna happen. Like, are we keeping the black like this? I mean, do y'all know? I don't know.
yeah.
Are we keeping the black ones?
Yeah, so you're keeping the black ones, and then you guys will have a new city one, I think, that you'll probably be wearing for like around the play-in tournament in November. So
What's
you got
that like?
the mid-season tournament.
Is that the
The
El
mid-season.
Valle? El Valle.
I think so, but we
El
haven't
Valle?
seen it.
Wow.
Yeah, they haven't
Yeah.
revealed it yet, but we'll see what it looks
the
like.
El
Yeah, I
Valle
don't know
would
what
go super hard, and I know a lot of people have already talked about that, but we don't.
I heard it's
couldn't
gonna be
confirm.
like kind of like a dark blue with
All
like
I know is that
that's what I heard. I don't know. It's the
all
Can't
I
say that.
know is that you are keeping the black one from last year. You've got the 2 that they released yesterday, and then there's one that has not been released yet that won't come out until November. So that one's still under wraps.
Yeah.
And then the
Sorry.
originated the turquoise one from last year, that one's gone.
Sorry.
So
Yeah,
we're
it's lower.
excited to see what the rest of them all kind of look like coming together.
Yeah.
But these
I
two
just saw.
are
Sorry,
dope.
I just saw on Twitter, so I didn't know.
Oh, it's all good.
I don't know
We
officially.
don't know either.
I'm just trying to keep you
Okay,
safe.
yeah.
If you just saw it on Twitter, then that's all. That's good.
We were just
No,
like,
I'm like,
oh,
I
man.
don't want DLee to drop anything that we weren't supposed to know.
No, not at all. It's the what's Sun's uniform
Uni
tracker.
Yeah.
Yo,
Okay.
locked
Okay.
in.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we're all good because I was like, please don't
Yeah.
tell me that you're spilling the
No.
tea here on our show.
I'm like, oh,
We're gonna get in
we got
trouble.
blue uniforms, y'all.
I was like, I don't know what they look like, but I
No,
don't want you
make
to
sure-
get in trouble.
Make sure y'all know that is. We ain't having no sound bites. The full clip is
Yes.
Sun's uni tracker. Put it out, and that's where all information is sourced from.
Okay.
You could tell Lindsay's a pro because she was like, let me cut him off right now.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah, that's
Don't
that's
worry.
all.
I'm just like, I'm trying
That's
to keep
all Twitter.
peace.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Don't
that
worry.
makes sense because I feel like we've
Yeah.
all seen those
Yeah,
leaks
yeah.
too. Just nothing has been concrete or confirmed yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Hey, I've been out of town for a month.
Hmm.
Trust me, I ain't got no info. And if I did have it, I ain't leaking it.
Yep.
You're like, I'm just talking about the things that we have all collectively seen together.
I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll source you properly. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Make sure.
Damion, I got one last question
y'all
before we
know.
let you go. I know that last season you came out on fire, and then as the year went on, your minutes kind of fluctuated. It happened to a lot of people. It happens a lot in this league. But what's the one thing heading into next season, aside from the 3-point shooting, that you feel like people should know about your game and what you bring to the table?
I mean, I play hard every night.
Hmm.
Like that's like, I feel like that's a skill. Like I feel like I know the game at a high level. It's funny, you see like the Twitter GMs and like the Instagram people that kind of like say like, oh, it doesn't know basketball, it doesn't know, but it's like I study the game at a high level. I'm very receptive of information of my teammates and knowing what I can do, but like I play hard every single night. Like and all I want to do is win. Like I don't care about the credit. Like I know what I do, and I know what I do at a high level. I don't care about the credit. I want to win, and when my career is done, I want to be known as a winner. So I feel like that's what I try to bring. I don't know if that fully answers it, but like at the end of the day, like I just want to be known as a winner. Like that's it. I don't want to leave this league without, whatever it is. I want to win, and I play hard every night, and I'm selfless, and I play for my team. But I also know what I do at a high level.
Absolutely.
There we go.
DLee, we're so excited for this upcoming
thanks, brother.
season. Literally cannot wait. Cannot come soon
Yes.
enough. Thank you again so much for hanging out with us. This has been a blast. Everybody in the chat has nothing but amazing things to say about you. So if you need a pick me up anytime because of the heat,
Hey, I
we've got you
appreciate
down,
it.
keeping you inside the house. Go read the chat. They're all here for you.
Gotta run
So-
it back. Gotta run it back.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your off season. Best of
Yes.
luck with the golf scramble and, of course, the auction. One more time, we did put the link again in the chat. Make sure you guys go check that out and give it some
Yes.
love on social media too.
Yes, go check it out. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let's have some fun this year. So let's do
go.
it. Y'all see it. Y'all see it below. Auction. Send it off. Send it everywhere. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Bye,
Thanks.
DLee.
All right, that was awesome.
He was so dope.
That was so awesome.
I love him.
You know what? Every single time, I feel like every athlete that we've had on makes me feel like I need to do more with my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, man, these guys are like high volume athletes and they're doing all these things for the community. I'm like, man, get me the fuck off this show. I gotta go do some stuff.
Motivational.
You know, it's so awesome. It's uplifting.
It is. Right. And they're always do. And honestly, I feel like when you're lucky enough to snag a player in the off season, they're so much more chill.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they've had a moment to decompress from the grind that is, like he mentioned it, like 9 months. You see your teammates, he probably sees you almost more than he sees his family sometimes. Right. Because you're just
he's like, it's unfortunate.
You put your head down and you like he said, you work hard every single night. It's a lot. And I feel like when they're able to step away for even just a small amount of time, and then like you get more of them and less of the job part of them, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And he's always been a real one with us when we get the chance to talk to him. You know, I remember last year we were asking him a little bit about his shot process because he mentioned it to us today as well. He loves to study film and he just went into full detail about certain jump shooters whose game and whose shot release he's studied hours of film of to kind of implement into his own shot. So he's always kind of been this type of dude that is just willing to be down to earth and talk to you about hoops. Like these guys all love it, but the way that he's willing to just share his knowledge about the game is really cool. And some of those quotes, I've been saving them for a special occasion. Those will be in Friday's article that I'm writing about DLee and his expectations for the upcoming season. So make sure to go check that out on Friday when it's up.
It's such a far cry, and we always compare it to what the last decade was before, 2021. But like it's every single time I hear a Suns player now talk about the game, especially this iteration, and what we've heard this offseason, like the thing that I always take away is they appreciate the grind. They love the game and they research the hell out of the game to make sure that they're trying to maximize their own potential as far as they possibly can. And, for any hooper out there that grew up playing pickup ball, high school ball, college, whatever, you can identify with that because like that's shit. When I was growing up, that's all I did was watch Michael Jordan videos, like superstars and all this other stuff. And it's just like, I appreciate that so much about these guys is that like, they just want to play ball and they want to play it the best they possibly can. And DLee obviously is of that iteration and, coming up through the Warriors as well, like Steph, right there and Clay and those guys watching them and their process, I'm sure had nothing but a great impact on him. And now he's able to maybe pass that on down to guys, like Tumani, who are coming into the league and they understand what hard work is, but they don't really understand how hard you have to work to stay in this league and play at a high level.
That's the hard part. I feel like so many times we think getting to the league is the hard part. It's staying in the league. That's the hard part.
Can I tell a quick story about the type of dude DLee is?
Yes.
Of course, Gerald.
I know what this story is.
Hold on real quick. Let me just paint a picture in case you're on audio. Gerald's been looking at me and Saul, giving us the eye with this big old cheesy grin on his face like he's a kid on Christmas.
Like I said, he's super down to earth. He's willing to shoot the shit with you and like talk with you and even call you out. He mentioned it before we got on air. He sees what is tweeted out there. These guys do see it, and Damion Lee sees it. But I actually got a 2-part story for you. So early in the season last year, I had written a shot. I can't remember what game it was, but it was a game where the Suns were down, and I think it was in Utah. They wound up losing, and Damion Lee took the last shot, and it was a late game situation, and he kind of rushed it because he didn't know the defender was giving him space. So he shot it early. They missed. The Suns lost. And I had written or tweeted about it, about how breaking down the last play. And I had said something about, Damion Lee taking a crazy shot or whatever. So after the next game, the Suns are at home and I'm in the locker room. I'm waiting to talk to Book or somebody. And Damion Lee, he gestures to me. So I come over and he's like, hey, so you really think it was a crazy shot, huh? I was like, oh man, here we go. So I was like, all right, crazy was probably the wrong word. And I explained my thought process. And we had like a 5-minute conversation about the basketball side of the play and how he thought the defender was going to come this way. So that's why he did what he did. And like, he's just one of those people that is totally willing to like call you out in a joking way, but then actually have a conversation with you. He's also a bit of a jokester because when I was covering the Nuggets series, I flew into Denver and my bag got left here in Phoenix. It never made the trip for whatever because I checked a bag.
The rat took it.
And so the rat took it. So that was the trip from hell, man. The suitcase that got lost.
I had already blocked that out of my memory.
I had flown in early morning because the Suns were going to practice in Denver. They were going to have media availability. And I'm sorry, but that early in the morning, especially if I was up late writing the night before, I'm wearing flip-flops. I'm wearing sweatpants. I'm wearing a comfortable shirt for the flight. I don't have my contacts in. I just got glasses. Like, I am chilling on that flight. I will get ready when I get there.
Gerthy was undercover.
The problem is my bag never made it. So all I have clothes-wise are my sweatpants, my flip-flops, my T-shirt. And so I have to go to practice like this. And I had tweeted something out about it. And I had tweeted like, man, I'm about to cover Suns practice in flip-flops and sweatpants. I walk in and Damion Lee, they're all like doing some like 3-on-3 half-court scrimmages or whatever after practice stuff. Damion Lee sees me walking in. He goes, "Here comes Gerald in his sweatpants and flip-flops." I was like, "Oh man,
I love that so much."
Yeah,
oh my
so
God.
he's great, man.
I remember when you came into the office that day. I thought it was shoot around, but he came in. He was just like, Damion Lee pulled me to the side. I was like, oh,
it was
shit.
so funny. Okay, so I heard the first story. I never heard the second story. You never told us that.
Yeah,
why are you just keeping these gems from us,
it was like
Gerald?
in the middle of the playoffs. I totally forgot that it even happened, and then I was like, man, this guy always he'll bust my chops a little bit just for fun.
That's so funny.
That's how you know they like you.
Yes.
It's just facts.
For
this
sure.
is facts because honestly, if you walked in here with flip-flops and sweatpants and your glasses on, I'd be like, Gerald,
Yeah.
what's up?
Like, who the fuck you trying to impress, huh?
Only because we're family and we
Yes.
like you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's fun. So that's aw. I love DLee. Is DLee our sweet baby angel?
Ooh,
He might be.
I feel like DLee might be our sweet baby angel.
You know who's a way better knockdown 3-point shooter too? Just saying.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Just saying.
Let's not.
Can we combine the two?
No.
Let's take Sweet Baby Angel and knockdown 3-point shooter and put it together, baby. Woo!
I feel like 3-point or knockdown 3-point shooter might need to go away because it ended poorly. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
it's
So now
also,
I feel like it's got a jinx attached to it.
You did also pick a traditionally not the best 3-point
I know,
shooter.
but I think it was that we're going to go down a whole rabbit hole here. But I think we maybe need to retire that. But DLee is definitely in the running for Sweet Baby Angel for the season for sure. Okay. Absolutely. All right, real quick, we're going to take a break and tell you guys about our friends over at Circle K. You know that they have the best coffee, the best beer, the best snack selection, and of course, the best premium gas. And if you're lucky, maybe, just maybe, one of our faces will be there to greet you while you're filling up your tank. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative. You guys get to be the deciders. But I will say, anytime I get Leah, it makes my day. So
I always want to be on one of those gas station pumps and hear it on the other side. Yeah. So I could just pop around and be like, grab your Polar Pop.
Just like inception it and whatever. Make sure you guys are not missing out on all the great stuff that Circle K has to offer. Right now, if you text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club, you're going to get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Also, if you are looking to spruce up your space, highly recommend you check out our friends at Saturday Neon. It is a company that is started by two friends and former college roommates, and they make officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs. And these things are high quality. They are top notch. They look absolutely beautiful. And right now, if you go to SaturdayNeon.com and use that code PHNX, you're going to get 10% off your order today, plus free shipping on orders over $200. Again, that is PHNX, SaturdayNeon.com. So here's the thing, guys. It is 3:42. We have another guest joining us here in just a few minutes. So everything else that we planned for today, y'all are just going to have to come back tomorrow and we will talk about it then, because today we are continuing Gerald's efforts to take a deep dive into the newcomers and the re-signees. Again, our guest is joining us in just a minute, but to introduce who we are going to be discussing, it is, of course, Drew Eubanks. Drew Eubanks is probably, as Gerald wrote in his in-depth article over at GoPHNX.com, one of the sleeper pickups for the Suns this year. We've talked a lot about how the Suns have made great moves on the margins, have maximized the minimums is what we've been going with. And Drew Eubanks absolutely fits into that category. He's a center. He's 26. He's 6'10", has a 6'11" wingspan. What stands out to you guys the most about what you're most excited to see from Drew this year?
I'm going to coin a term for this season because I'm really excited that this is going to happen several times. You know, when people get dunked on, they say, you know, you baptize somebody or, you know, you put them down or whatever, right? But I'm going to go back to the 90s. Okay. And there's this movie called Above the Rim. For anybody that hasn't seen it, there's a scene where they kind of keep slapping the backboard. And one of the guys that slaps the backboard on the top of this building, which is a poorly placed rim to begin with, slaps it and he falls off the side of the building. He goes to his death. But his name was Nutso. And so I just, and when people get dunked on when I was in high school, we used to say, Nutso! Like, I hope I get some Nutso moments from Eubanks because I feel like he has some in him.
This is such a Saul thing. Like this whole, like that is the epitome of Saul, and I love it. Absolutely.
We're bringing it back. We might need to make a graphic or something.
I am 100% on board with you. Yeah. I feel like Drew Eubanks. It's gonna be he's gonna be super fun. There's gonna be moments where we're all up out of our seats with Drew Eubanks.
I hope so.
Right. He is. In looking at some of his film, I was really impressed with what he brings to the table. He is another above the rim athlete. We were talking to King's Film Room the other day about Chimezie Metu, and he used the term vertical spacing. Drew Eubanks does that as well. And he is a leaper on the other end as well. Defensively, like as a rim protector, a lot of people didn't know this, and I was kind of shocked to realize he had the 11th most blocks in the entire league last season, despite averaging like 20 minutes a game. So this is a guy that on both ends is an above the rim athlete, underrated in that regard, knows his role, very physical. And we're going to dive into his game a little bit deeper now that our guest is here.
Yeah, we just need 1 second to make sure that everything is all good, and we'll bring him in. But Gerald, I was paying attention to our guest to make sure that he was actually on the show. Did you mention that he recorded 102 blocks last season, the 11th most in the entire league?
I did.
I figured you did, but I just wanted to make sure that you had mentioned that. Emma, are we okay now?
Yeah, we are good.
Okay. All right, let's welcome in our next guest of the show, Danny Margang, radio and podcast host for 1080 The Fan, covering the Portland Trail Blazers. Danny, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Boom, 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 boom.
Danny, I don't know if you can hear us. We cannot hear you. Not sure if it's muted on your end or if it's just technical difficulties that happen at some point in time. But if you can hear us,
blink twice. No? Okay.
Well, while we hopefully wait for Danny to come back.
I do think one of the things about Drew Eubanks that I'm excited to see is his chippiness. He's got a little edge to him.
He does.
And I obviously we talked about it at length last year. This team needed some grit. Right. In the worst way. And I feel like we got a couple dudes that got a little bit of not so sane there.
And so that was the thing I was going to bring up when it comes to the blocks. Gerald and I were talking about this before the show, is that I give so much credit to guys who are not afraid to go up and try and block somebody in this league, because you know that if you don't succeed, you know exactly what's going to happen on social media. It could become legendary down the road depending on who dunks on you, right? But he's not afraid of that. Yeah, right. And again, to your point, you gotta be a little bit edgy. You gotta be a little bit crazy, for lack of a better word, to want to do that on a regular basis. And I am so excited to see that.
I think that's where DA kind of goes a little wrong, is that I think he thinks too much about that element instead of you gotta snap. You got to snap.
Yeah.
And you got to attack the ball the same way that guy's attacking the rim. Otherwise, you will get posterized. And we'll see if take two works out now. We'll see.
All right, let's try this again. Welcoming into the show, Danny Margang, radio and podcast host for 1080 The Fan, covering the Portland Trail Blazers. Danny, can you hear us?
Oh,
damn.
Dang.
That's a bummer. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Gerald, maybe you can message Danny.
Yeah, I am.
Hopefully at one point in time, if not today, we are able to get Danny back on to share some insight with us about Drew Eubanks, because I do want to get the perspective from the Portland Trailblazers, because Gerald, as you mentioned in your article, he did get to start for them a lot last season due to injury, and I know that Danny would have great insight on him as far as that, and also just what his mindset is like.
Yeah, I think when I was going through his film and looking at his game, like we mentioned, like he loves dunking on people, he loves blocking shots, he loves talking shit while he's doing both of those things. But he's also a very physical player, and like you were saying, we need some guys that have a little bit of edge, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and Eubanks plays that way with the way that he sets screens, with the way that he when he feels that contact on the screen, he like pushes off and rolls towards the basket immediately. So he has that sense of urgency. He is really good finishing around the basket aside from just the highlight dunks. And actually, one thing that was very interesting was he loves his hook shot. This is in the article that I wrote, but I think 1/3 of his shot attempts were hook shots. So he's kind of similar to DA in that regard in terms of getting into the paint, spinning, and throwing up a hook.
Are we talking about a standing hook or a sweeping hook?
So he does both.
Does he really?
I
didn't see the sweeping hook.
The sweeping hook looks a little goofy, I won't lie. It's a very Kareem tribute.
Yes, that's what I want to see.
He shot a pretty good percentage on it. It was like 1% less than DA shot last year, actually.
Awesome. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Well, there's just momentary silence. I don't know. We're all kind of transfixed on Emma trying to figure this out, which is kind of cool. Just a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. And also, I was focusing on Emma, so I tuned you guys out in the very beginning when our guest was first coming in. So I don't want to do another. Gerald, did you say this already?
Yeah.
Saul, did you say this already?
All good.
Because it would definitely be like
you would
that.
not be the first person on this show to repeat whatever somebody
I
else
am
has
aware.
said,
but I'll just ask, did you mention what his former teammate Doug McDermott said about him?
I did not, no, because we actually got the chance to talk to Dougie Buckets in Vegas for Summer League. And originally I had been asking him about Keita Bates-Diop because obviously they spent last season together on the Spurs. I had forgotten that Eubanks was there prior to that with McDermott. And so he kind of unprompted started talking about the job the Suns have done, the additions that he loved. And he mentioned Drew Eubanks and how he's such an underrated rim protector, underrated athlete, obviously a great team guy in the locker room. So I thought that was pretty cool that without me even having to ask about Eubanks, he volunteered that, kind of went to bat for his guy. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people in terms of like, man, we got this guy for the veteran minimum. That's a pretty great pickup. So I'm excited to watch him play. We have so many new faces and he's going to be another candidate for poster of the year when we look at all these dunkers that the Suns have now.
It's going to be a blast. I think he said, quote, he's another guy that just plays his butt off every night. And honestly, like the fact that we were able to get so many guys back on this squad, whether it was re-signing like DLee and Josh Okogie or some of the new guys like Drew Eubanks, that seems to be a common theme. That there are every single guy on this team is going to play hard every single night. They're going to bring the energy and they're going to work their tails off. And I am absolutely excited for that. And I think it's going to bring even more out of these guys, maybe some of the ones that are returning as well. And then the new guys as well. It's just going to be like, who can one up the next one with the energy that night? You know what I mean? Okay, are we trying again?
No, not yet. I feel like maybe Danny has himself muted. So if you can hear us, Danny, maybe unmute yourself. That's what it's saying on our side. So yeah, that's kind of the temporary holdup as we stand here right now.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, we did it. There he is.
Let's go.
Let's go.
It wouldn't join for whatever reason. I'm dialing in from my car on my way home from the studio. So I've heard you guys talking about my favorite hook shot artist.
Yes.
But obviously not getting it to work. I'll say this. I asked Drew about his hook shots in high school. He's from here. He's from the Portland area, Reynolds High School. He said his high school coach had him working on, I want to say it was 100 hook shots after practice every day. And he sat there and worked on like every variation, right hand, left hand, over the shoulder, sweeping, step through, up and under. He has got a variety of hook shots. And I want to say he shot something around 60+%. I think he got as high as 66. It dropped as low as like 59. But if he gets that hook shot, it's a good shot. Like as insane as that sounds, it's the shot you want him taking outside of a dunk.
I'm a sucker for a sweeping hook, so I cannot wait to watch more of this on my team. So,
well, it's great because sometimes he'll catch the ball in the short roll around like the free throw line, and there'll be space, and so he'll just like go right into the running hook, but won't get like closer to the basket while he does it. So he's confident. Yeah, and he'll hit it.
Yeah,
it's great.
You want him taking that hook shot over making the pass on the short roll.
That's fair.
Okay,
yeah.
That's all fair. Right. Well, Danny, what's the thing that stands out the most about Drew and him potentially being a vital part for the Suns team this year?
To be blunt, Drew is a red ass. He is absolutely, unequivocally, he's going to troll. He's going to be on the edge of dirty. He's going to sock somebody in the kidneys.
Yes.
He's going to talk a whole heap of trash. He's going to be physical. He's going to play above his weight. I love Drew as a basketball player and a dude. Like, you're going to love him. You're never going to feel like you were shorted when he's on the floor. He's limited in what he can do basketball-wise, but the stuff that he does well, he does really well. He's one of the best finishers in the league around the rim because he tries to dunk everything.
Mm-hmm. We were just talking.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, we were kind of talking about that from the block side of things too. Like, you got to be you got to be wired differently to go up and contest that many shots, knowing what could happen on the flip side.
100%. And here's the thing. Drew is not a rim protector. He is a shot blocker. Mm-hmm. There is a difference. I think Drew's listed at 6'10" or 6'11", depending on where you go. Drew's 6'9". Okay. Don't get it twisted. Drew is not. If Drew was 6'11", he would be a starting big in the league. That's really the difference, is that he just doesn't quite have the size or enough, to be honest, enough weight in his back end to be able to anchor and be physical enough with dudes for 30 minutes a night. But he has exquisite weak side shot blocking timing, and he will get a little happy on his feet. He will. Instead of maybe staying at the rim and deterring a shot, he will try to block a shot maybe he shouldn't and put him out of position on rebounding. But as a second or third big, there's very few guys who are like, I want a guy who's going to be active defensively, who's going to compete, who's going to be tough. You're never going to get cheated on energy. Like, you don't have to run any plays for him. Like, in that vein, he's very, very, very good at what he does.
Danny, I'm curious about this because I was kind of surprised. I'm pretty sure the Blazers had his bird rights, if I'm correct. Were you surprised to see him go? And do you like the fit in Phoenix, especially, given the fact that he signed a veteran minimum contract here?
I don't think he was going to get above a vet minimum here, even if he stayed. I talked to his parents, I want to say late March, early April, and they're at every home game. Again, being from Troutdale, just outside Portland, I asked his mom, like, how cool has this been for you? She's like, I'll never forget this. And I think that plays a part in this. Is Drew got married while he was here. He got to play in front of his hometown family, his hometown friends, and as cool as it would be to be here for his whole career, I think he got to mark this off his book, and now he gets to go make money, gets a 2-year deal, and pursue a championship. Like the idea of playing for a winner right away. And again, he's 25, 26, newly married. Phoenix is a dope place to live. Let's be honest. I 100% get that. So I don't think it's really a surprise. I'm sure Portland would have been like, we'd like to bring him back, but I don't think that was going to make or break anything in any sense of how Portland's going about things, particularly right now. Portland has some things that they need to figure out personnel-wise. So
you don't say.
So yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that needs to happen. And to be honest, I think if if Portland is going to make a bigger deal before the season, I think one of their goals is probably going to try to address the front court. And like signing a guy to a vet minimum, as much as they like Drew and appreciate him, I just don't think that was really high on their pecking order of make sure we get this done.
Awesome. Well, Danny, thank you so much for dealing with the technical chaos that was getting you on the show and powering through that so that we could actually talk to you.
Real quick, before we do let you go, over under on, I got to place a bet on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Over under on 25 times Eubanks will try to dunk some guy's arm off.
If he plays more than 25 games, take the over.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Perfect. And then
that's how he operates.
We love this. This is going to be such a fun season. And then 2, thank you so much for the insight and information that you have shared with us about Drew Eubanks. We're all really excited to see kind of what happens this season and how much he grows and develops here in Phoenix. So thank you again for joining us.
Hey, not a problem at all. I got an hour-plus drive home from Portland to where I live out in the sticks here. And so I'm not going anywhere. And enjoy Drew and have a good season, guys. It's gonna be fun watching you guys from the outside.
Thanks
Thank
Danny.
you. Everyone, you can give Danny a follow on Twitter at Danny Margang. It's Margan. Speaking of BetMGM.
Marang.
G. Yeah, with a G.
Oh, I did spell that wrong, didn't I? Well, I spelled it right the first time I wrote it and then wrong the second time I wrote it. So Danny, Marang.
There we go.
My bad, y'all.
I got you.
Speaking of the BetMGM Sportsbook app, there are tons of things going on over there. They've got different promotions like the Swing for the Fences promotion, a whole bunch obviously centered around MLB, but there will be some for the NBA and of course the NFL when those things start up again. So make sure that you are ready for the start of NBA season by getting signed up on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. And make sure you sign up using that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, you place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses. Check out the show notes for full details, and now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
If you don't have anywhere to go drink, then that's on you because we've told you multiple times about Four Peaks.
That's facts.
And Four Peaks is fantastic. And you should go try the new tea shot because it's fantastic. It's a little mix of green tea and an ale. It's delicious. We have it in here in the studios, and it's Espo and I's probably favorite beer of all time. To be frank, Four Peaks is the official craft beer of PHNX, as you all know. And you can go check out their 8th Street Pub anytime because they have delicious goodies and they have delicious chicken tenders, which these two people love. I usually veer towards the seasonal items because I like to try something new all the time. So please check them out at the 8th Street Pub. And remember that you must be 21 or older to enjoy these beverages, and please drink responsibly.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're going to be outside this summer, make sure your eyes are protected and you look good by getting yourself a pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. They are they're an independent sunglass company with a world-class product, and they are just as good as the expensive glasses, but they are much more affordable. So you can buy 2 or 3 or 4 pairs depending on what you are looking for.
And if you buy more than 2,
you get a discount when you use the code PHNX. Yes, exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. So go to shadyrays.com, use that code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. So it's even more affordable.
I might hook up my man Jay if I buy 2 pairs, I might hook up my man Jay with a pair because he had the best comment of the day. He said, in regards to Drew Eubanks, he said, hook shots and left hooks. Yes.
Love it.
Yes. Hit him with this and then hit him with this.
Was Drew Eubanks the one who low-key tried to fight somebody at one point?
Oh,
in
yeah.
time? Was that him?
He's always wanted to fight somebody.
Or was this It was in Summer League.
Chimezie Metu.
Chimezie was, okay,
got
that's the
kicked
one
out
I
of
was
the Summer
thinking
League
about.
game
Okay.
A couple
There
years
you go.
ago. Because he got undercut and then he swung on a guy.
Yeah. I was like, what? I know there was somebody who did something in Summer League. I just couldn't remember which one. We do.
Yes. About time.
Pat Bev, who?
I mean, well, I don't know about that. We don't cheap shot people. Maybe into the kidneys, but it's better than pushing somebody's head off their back.
Yeah.
But I meant more like Pat Bev can't do anything to us anymore.
Oh, no, Drew Eubanks will throw Pat Bev into the upper deck.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're not worried about no spicy people anymore.
Remember the beginning of the season when Pat Bev and DA got into it a little bit or whatever? Like, Pat Bev would never to Drew Eubanks.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
Because Drew Eubanks would be like, okay, stomp. He would not give any shits about
He's
that.
the type of guy that will respond to that, and not only like with the trash talking and getting in guys' faces, but the way he plays. Like, I cannot tell you how many times he blocked Russell Westbrook going through all his blocks last season.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, and how much shit he talked after he blocked him almost every single time. So he responds to guys that have that kind of fiery energy. I
love it. I love it. I wish I could see some of these practices, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like these practices are going to be kind of crazy at first, and they're going to be a little scrappy. And I will say this. DA has his work cut out for him in practice, because he's got a couple dudes that are just like, oh, you want to go? Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to test your will.
But that's a great thing. Look at what PJ Tucker was for Book and how much we've talked about that over the years. Like,
how much he's talked about that over the years.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, sometimes you just need somebody who will literally push you.
Yeah.
Literally.
Vogelini cooking up that sauce, baby. Let's go.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right, last thing, Burrito Express. We love our friends over at Burrito Express. They've got multiple Valley locations. Of course, the one in Tempe is most centrally located, and they're fantastic when it comes to their support of the community, their support of ASU athletics and athletes. So they are fantastic. Go grab yourself a burrito from Burrito Express, and make sure you give them a follow on Twitter as well at Burrito EXP.
Probably the craziest Twitter account you're ever going to follow.
They're fun.
But Angels, he's a dope dude.
Yeah,
so.
Super fun.
He makes good burritos. I let him off the hook.
If you're an ASU fan, you're fine. You're just chilling. All right, guys. This was a good show.
It was.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that we had planned for today that we will move to tomorrow. A lot of chaos.
Oh, we're going to get into some Bradley Beal high school nonsense,
if you will.
I promise you that.
Some slander, maybe?
Too much.
Even? We'll see. You guys are just going to have to come back tomorrow at 3 p.m., same place, same time, and join us for that conversation. Shout out to Danny for joining us. Shout out to DLee for joining us and giving us double the amount of time that we expected. He was so gracious with his time today. Don't forget to check out his auction online. It's on his social media pages, ours as well. And if you are able to and you see something on there that you want to pick up, place a bid, because that money goes to some really good organizations. All right. Until next time, you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. And of course, you can follow, you can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. I just skipped right over you, Gerald, thinking you were the one who wasn't here today instead of Espo. My bad. Who wants to take us home?
I will. Listen, you can finish the show like DLee, which is always better than finishing the show like Espo, who we told to get checked out. And then he checked out, and now he's sick. So go out like a champ, like DLee did. Bye-bye. To turn up the tempo, got to understand me. I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G. No plan B. Always on the job. My team move like the mob. Turn the beat on. I throw it down like DA on the